You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a player spotlight interview is 2016 NFL Draft prospect. He's Kelsey Young, running back out of Boise State. And Kelsey, we appreciate you taking some time this evening. Can you believe that your time as a college athlete has come and gone, and now here you are working for an opportunity at the next level?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It is so crazy. Time really flies by. I'm back out in Norco, California, where I went to high school at, and it's crazy to see like all the people that have grown, and my little brother's in high school now, and being out here and training and everything. It's like, wow, I've really been gone for 5 years, so it's definitely a blessing. But I'm happy to be out here. I'm happy to be training, and I'm happy to be able to pursue my dreams still.
And talk about what the process has been like for you, Kelsey. I mean, what has your schedule consisted of since that 55-7 beatdown you guys handed Northern Illinois in the Point Incentive Bowl?
Yeah, man, it is a crazy story, actually. So after the season, I actually had the notion to walk away from football. You know, things weren't necessarily going the way that I wanted to go. And, I was just thinking maybe football is it's time to hang the cleats up and go and move to the Silicon Valley and start my career in computer science. But, I'm a man of faith, and it's going to sound crazy, but I felt like I had a divine intervention. I was on my way to Boise. I was literally packing up my suitcase, and I was in the car with my mom headed to the airport, and then I just felt like God called me and said, utilize this platform as football. You have a really good skill. Just use that and give it another shot. So I'm kind of, putting my faith in him, and this happened like January 24th. So this is, like a month into where everybody's like training and kind of doing their thing already. And, I just felt behind. I was like, okay, I got to get in the game real fast. Luckily, there's a good training facility out in Norco called Winter Circle Athletics, and I hooked up with my guys there and got in touch with my agent, Josh Arnold, and it just kind of came about. And now here we are 7 weeks later, and I feel, in the best shape that I've felt in a very long time, and I just can't wait to let it loose on March 31st for our pro day.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll start. We'll leave it up right. We'll take it from right there. Kelsey, Boise State. Their pro day is scheduled for March 31st, less than 2 weeks away. What are your expectations? What are some of the numbers you'd like to hit? And will that be the only pro day you'll be participating in?
Yeah, so I will only be participating in Boise State's pro day. Before Boise, I was at Stanford University, and their pro day was today. So it was pretty cool seeing all my guys on the Snapchat and everything, seeing them be able to showcase their skills. But so my pro day will be on March 31st, and numbers wise, I just want to show how explosive and how how dynamic I can be as a player. I want to get down into the low 4.4s on my 40. Get 20 reps in bench, and show that I can broad jump at least 10 feet and vert jump up there too, and then also show that I have good natural ball skills in the position drills and have good footwork, all those things that that you have to be able to do in the next level. So I think it's going to be a pretty good showing. There's a lot of guys that are going to be entering this draft class from Boise, so I think it's going to be a good platform for me to really showcase what I can do, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And for those who aren't aware of you very much, Kelsey, I do want to give a little background about yourself. You did not spend all 4 of your years at Boise State, as you mentioned. Coming out of high school, you were a four-star recruit. You were one of the top backs in the nation. Your senior year at Norco High School, you ran for over 2,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. And from there, you would then spend the next 4 years at Stanford before spending your final year of eligibility at Boise State. Can you describe what your experience was like there at Stanford and how you decided that Boise State was where you wanted to finish your college football playing career at?
Yeah, so going to Stanford right out of high school was such a blessing. I got to, be with guys from all around the country, and they just come off of an Orange Bowl victory. And, and I was just so excited to be able to go there and compete and play running back and do all these things. And when I was at Stanford, I had a lot of success doing a lot of, what do they say, X-Factor role where, I would be the guy that would come in and do like the fly sweeps, the jet sweeps. I would be in the slot at times. I would come in and play running back as well. And I had a lot of success with that. I helped the team win a Rose Bowl victory in 2013 against Wisconsin. I scored one of the only 2 touchdowns for Stanford there. And, and it was just a great experience, man. I was able to, like I said, play like a jack of all trades. And the thing about Stanford is like they had so many talented running backs at that place, and they kind of did like a running back by committee. And what I really wanted to do is prove that I can be a guy that can handle it all, that I can run between the tackles, that I can pass protect, that I can catch the football out of the backfield, and that I can recognize blitzes and defenses and all that. And so with the running back by committee, it was kind of hard to do that because everybody was, kind of tailored to do like one thing or two as opposed to doing a lot of things. So Boise offered that pristine opportunity for me to do all those things that I was talking about, and I'm very fortunate to have played at both big-time programs and had success at both places, and I really can't be ashamed of anything that I've done in my college career. I'm really happy and blessed to be able to do what I did.
Oh, for sure. And I got to think, I'm surprised you didn't mention it, my friend. I got to think it was really cool to play on the same college football team as your brother, who is also a back there at Boise State. And, of course, looking at just this past season of yours, Kelsey, I mean, you really did have a nice impact on the team. Played in all 13 games. You ran for 511 yards and 8 touchdowns in just 101 attempts. You do the math that's 5.1 yards per carry. So you were certainly making the most of every carry that you received. The Boise State Broncos, you guys certainly had a lethal running back duo with yourself and Jeremy McNichols. Obviously, Stanford, as you mentioned, they had quite a few great running backs while you were there. And obviously they had a ton of success this past season with Christian McCaffrey, a Heisman finalist. But would you say that there was an added chip on your shoulder this past season? And, was there anything that you wanted to prove at Boise State?
Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to prove that I could be, that number one guy that, he's going to make the most of his opportunities every time he touches the ball. And I think I proved that at Boise State. The first game that we played, it was against Washington, the Pac-12 team, and I think I really, I had some good runs, I had some good catches, had some good pass protecting there, and I just wanted to show everybody that, Kelsey Young he can do anything, and I think that's what chip I still have on my shoulder going into the NFL is, I just want to prove that whatever I do, I'm going to help the team be successful. I'm going to be a teammate that's going to encourage my teammates, and I'm going to give it all that I got each rep, and I'm going to make sure that my production is going to put the team in a position to win. And I think that, just reflects off of all the success that I've had and the teams that I've been on have had over the past 5 years in college.
He's 2016 NFL draft prospect Kelsey Young, the running back out of Boise State, formerly of Stanford, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And Kelsey, when did you realize that you had a legit shot to make it to the NFL? As you said, you almost didn't take this route. You're almost going to take a different route. But when did you realize maybe there was one time, playing college ball that there was a moment that you thought to yourself, man, I really do have what it takes to play at the next level. Was there ever that moment for you?
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, I think I've had, moments like that ever since I stepped on the college campus. I was fortunate to play with players like Andrew Luck, and, I trained with Richard Sherman, and I went to the same high school as a former Stanford running back, Toby Gerhardt. So I've always been around, guys that made it to the next level and that had success at every level. So, and, seeing their work ethic and seeing what it takes and applying those mechanics to my game, and seeing the benefits from that, I think that really encouraged me and kind of, put some tangible evidence on, if these players are doing it and I'm doing it, okay, then I must be able to go to the next level just as they have. And I think, I think that, just being able to do those things just like the other players have done it has really inspired me that I can play on the next level and be amongst the top players on the next level.
Absolutely. And watching some of your film, Kelsey, you even touched on it a little earlier. I mean, the easiest way to describe your play is really you're an all-around back. You can kind of do everything, including the special teams play as well. But, in terms of run blocking, you can run in between the tackles, outside the tackles, you name it. You can do it. It's just whether or not you get the carries to do it. Obviously, we've seen that this past season at Boise State. But if you could, give us a brief scouting report on yourself. I mean, what would you say is your biggest strength as a running back? And what is one thing that you feel the need that you could work on to get better at?
Yeah, I think my biggest strength is that I'm very I'm dynamic, to say the least. My running style is not one-dimensional. I can lower my shoulder and run people over. Like, I did that a couple of times at Boise. I'm also very elusive. Like, the first guy is never going to tackle me. I know how to make moves, and I showed that at both Boise and at Stanford. And I think that comes from my, philosophy growing up, studying running backs like not only Barry Sanders, but Walter Payton, and seeing how, their running styles were different. But me seeing, the effect that both running styles had kind of prompted me to see if you can try to mend it, have the best of both worlds per se. And for me, I think for, things that I can improve on, I think I just need to work on being a more clear-cut guy. I need to make sure that I make all the measurables, make sure that I'm on the same page with the coaches all the time to make sure that I am doing what is asked of me. I think at times I will, meet up with the coach and hear that, okay, these are the things I need to work on, but I won't follow up on that. I'll just kind of go and work on that. And, things change, game plans change and things like that change. So I might be trying to work on something this way, but, the game plan may have changed and now I need to work on it that way. So I just need to make sure that I follow up things more and make sure that I'm meeting those bi-weekly or weekly measurables that need to be made. And I think that is definitely something that can be handled. It's not something that is impossible to change.
Yeah, absolutely. And as everybody knows, there's always something to get better at. So, nobody's perfect. There's always things to get better at. Next question for you, Kelsey. From start to finish, from Stanford to Boise State, how would you describe your experience playing college football at, like you said, two big-time programs over the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I think my experience was it was definitely a blessing, but I learned the biggest thing was that there are more than one way to get it done. You Boise State and Stanford, they have two different offensive schemes. So Boise is a spread offense. Obviously, it's an attack first, mix it up, go at the guy. And Stanford is more, it's pro style. It's slow, it's calculated, but you do the little things well. And I think that I was able to learn the best of different offensive schemes. And in the NFL, I don't think that I would have a trouble adjusting to any scheme, because I've seen the schemes that nearly every team is going to use. So I think playing at both big time colleges with very dynamic and successful offensive schemes have really helped me be prepared for whatever I'm going to see on the next level.
Yeah, man, you've been there, done that. Again, he's Kelsey Young, the running back out of Boise State, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible as he gets set for the 2016 NFL Draft. And, Kelsey, can you give us your current height and weight? By any chance, do you know that off the top of your head? I know the Boise State website has you listed at 5'11", 198. Is that about where you're at right now, or has your body changed since you've been training over the last couple of months?
Yeah, no, I'm about 5'10". I'm about 205 right now, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all muscle. I got about 8% body fat, man. I'm making sure that that's all muscle and strength and explosiveness that has been pounded up in there.
Nice. So is there any questions about your game that you want to answer? I mean, is there anything specific that you want to prove to the scouts that'll be in attendance at your pro day on March 31st?
Yeah, I just want, scouts to know that, I am a very valuable asset to any team, whether it's special teams, whether it's offense. I know how to score. I mean, that's been who I have been my whole life. I know how to get the ball to the first down or the touchdown or whatever it needs to be. I know how to score. I know how to get the offense moving. I know how to put the team in the best position to win. And that can be whatever task that is called upon me. I have film playing special teams as a gunner and running down the field and being the first one down there and getting tackles, and kick return and punt returns. Like I've done all that, so I am very flexible, and I can do whatever is asked of me. And I think that's something that scouts will be glad to know about me.
And let's say, this is always one of my favorite questions to ask these prospects, Kelsey. Let's say, looking back 5-10 years from now, what will be the first play that pops into your mind when you think about your collegiate career? I mean, what would you say is the most memorable play that you've made over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think my first touchdown in college, it was against the University of Arizona in 2012. It was a jet sweep. It was probably like my carry of my college career. And I take it 54 yards for a touchdown. I just beat everybody to the edge. Guys aren't catching me. My guys on Stanford, they're doing all their blocking down. And, and it was in the heat of the game, too. It was like third quarter. It's a shootout. It's like 33-34 at the time. Arizona was up. And then, I come in and make that touchdown and put us ahead. And we went on to win that game. And that was definitely one of my proudest moments.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go back and, try and look out for that game. I mean, it's not like you said, a shootout. I mean, back and forth scoring, and there you are in the third quarter, a big 54-yard score. That absolutely sounds great. For your first collegiate career touchdown as well, as you mentioned. How about this? Over the last 4 years, teammates aside, of course, as you mentioned, I mean, you've played with some of the best, and, of course, you've been around some of the best. So, again, teammates aside, who would you say is the best player that you've had to go up against? Was there anybody specific that you knew heading into that week? I mean, it was going to be a dogfight?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think, going against that Stanford defense in spring ball and fall camp, all those 4 years, because, that defense was what held us out in games that helped us beat like number 2 ranked Oregon in 2012, number 1 ranked USC in 2012, and going up against guys like Ben Gardner, Shane Skov, Trent Murphy, who's starting for the Redskins right now, and just so many other guys, Henry Anderson, who's starting for the Colts, and David Perry starting for the Colts too. So, going against those guys all the time definitely made me up my game and bring my 110% each time, and they definitely made me better. So, yeah, I definitely applaud our defense at Stanford for being so ruthless.
Yeah, it was like going up against an NFL defense right there, of course, in the college ranks. And Kelsey, I appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. We're going to end this interview with something that I like to call the 2-minute drill. Some of these questions will be football related, and some will be random questions, just about anything. You ready to knock some of these out? All right. We'll start off with something pretty easy. What is your favorite TV show and movie?
I love Criminal Minds. That's my favorite TV show, and my favorite movie is Casino.
Okay. All right. Who would you say you model your game after? I mean, growing up or even the last, 4 or 5 years, I mean, has there ever been that one guy playing in the NFL that you would always like to, take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto yours?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was young, I studied guys like Barry Sanders and Walter Payton. Like those 2 running backs, I wanted to model my game after both. I wanted to be dynamic as Sanders. I wanted to be as hard-nosed and punishing as Peyton, and that's definitely who I've modeled my game after.
Okay, and yeah, you totally said that earlier. My fault, but yeah, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, two of the greatest of all time, and I'll tell you what, we're out of Chicago, so that Walter Payton one really means a lot right there. I love it. I love it. But
right there.
Those 2 guys, though, man, not too many are better than them. So certainly, set the bar high, and absolutely 2 guys to look up to for sure. Let's say you had a round trip plane ticket to travel anywhere you wanted, Kelsey. Where are you headed?
I would go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It's the most diverse, populated culture in the world, and it's always sunny down there. It's always warm, and it just seems like a beautiful place to go.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. And I'm interested to hearing your answer to this one. As you said, you didn't really start giving this NFL thing a thought until mid-January. Finish the sentence. If it wasn't for football.
If it wasn't for football, I would be a computer scientist right now, trying to create the next Facebook.
Hey, there you go. Well, I'll tell you what, you certainly do seem to have a bright mind. As I said, it's really been a pleasure chatting with you, Kelsey. Final question. Let's say we got all 32 NFL general managers lined up. They're listening to this very interview. They're listening to hear what you have to say. Why should they want the running back out of Boise State, Kelsey Young, a part of their team?
Because I'm going to help the team win, period. You can put me in any position, and I'm going to help the team be successful. I am the greatest teammate, and I'm the greatest competitor. Anything that I do, anything that I touch, I'm going to make sure that it benefits me and the people around me.
And it's just that simple. You're the greatest teammate, you're the greatest competitor, and you're Kelsey Young, the running back out of Boise State, getting ready for the 2016 NFL Draft. Kelsey, it's really been a pleasure, and we're certainly wishing you all the best, man.
All right, Chris. Take care, man.